Hey YouTube, today I'm doing something a little different. I'll show my electrician's tools. I did electrical work for myself for many years. Haven't done it in a while. Got a regular job now, but still do some occasionally. I've carried my tools in a variety of different ways over the last 20 years. Anything from a 5-gallon bucket to a multiple array of different tool bags and toolboxes, and there's no perfect way. The bags are handy, but if they get wet, everything in them's going to rust, and everything ends up migrating to the bottom of the bag, and you can't never find it without dumping the whole thing out. But like I said, there's no perfect way to carry them, but this is the way I've been carrying them for the last few years, or a year or so, I guess. And I needed something that was waterproof, and needed something that was easy to find my tools and not have to dig them out the bottom of a tool bag or just a regular old toolbox. I found these boxes at Home Depot. They're waterproof, they stackable, they lock together. The bottom one I'll show before the end of the video is larger, and it has a expandable handle and wheels, and you can roll them all around together. This is just some basic electrical tools. Like I said, I don't do it every day anymore. Do an occasional job for some people I know. Just thought I'd show the basic tools you need if you want to do any light duty residential mainly wiring. And this box, mainly wanted to kind of focus on the box because it's a nice waterproof way to carry not only electrical tools. You could do plumbing tools or heat and air tools or even mechanics tools this way. You open it up, it has a removable tray, and if you notice, I have all my tools cut out into this foam, this shadowing material is what they call it, and it works really well. It keeps all your tools in place, and it'll let you know real quick if something's missing. So just to cover what the basics I got a tape measure, of course. Got a just your regular old Sharpie pen, marker. I have a torpedo level, come in handy for running conduit, stuff like that. Stud finder is really handy if you're adding a plug or a switch in a existing house and you need to find a stud before you cut into the sheetrock. And then I have a small Ideal multimeter. I don't remember where I got this, but it's nice. The leads are stored in the back. Just a light duty little pocket meter, and it's been really handy over the years, and I really like it. Then I have a knife just for skinning wire. That's the shape of blade you're going to want if you're doing any kind of wire skinning. But then this tray comes out. Then I have 3 layers of foam here. I tried to get it where the tools I would use the most are on the top. Like I said, there's no perfect way to carry tools, but this is about as best I've had. But your basic tools you're gonna need are of course, your lineman pliers. These are Klein. I've used a bunch of different ones over the years. Klein's best. That's about pretty much all it is to that. These are 9-inch. They're nice. About $35. You're gonna need a set of strippers. These are Ideal strippers. They'll strip wire from 20 gauge all the way up to 12. Spring loaded. Very handy. And I have a plug tester. It says it's about $8, $10. If you get one, it's got the button on it. That button will trip a ground fault plug. If it's wired correctly, you push the button, it'll trip the plug. So you can get it with or without that. And then the lights will come on in different configurations. Got a little chart to tell you if it's right or wrong. That's handy to have. Got a magnet tip screwdriver. Very useful for putting up ceiling fans. Keep you from dropping your screws. The magnet tip screwdriver is probably the most used tool in this box. Got some Klein flat tip, a large flat tip screwdriver. got a small flat tip screwdriver. I prefer the 6-inch screwdrivers. You can get these in 4, 6, I believe even 8. I prefer the 6s. It's just whatever you like. Got the speed handle screwdriver. About the only thing that's good for is putting on plug covers, switch covers. But it is handy for that. Not necessary to have though. Another useful tool is this 11-in-1 screwdriver. This happens to be a Milwaukee. Klein makes one. I prefer the Klein. I just happen to have a Milwaukee right now. They're not the highest quality. None of them are. But you can use them for a nut driver. You can use them for many. They have different tips for the screwdriver. And they'll come apart, flip over. And you got, it's nice. Like I said, it does nothing great, but it does a lot of things decent enough to get you by. Got a number 2 square tip screwdriver, come in handy for breaker boxes. A lot of breakers use these type number 2 square. And then got a Milwaukee heavy duty Phillips. Got the metal caps and the flat. Sometimes you're gonna have to beat on a screwdriver. That's just all it is to it. And you don't want to beat on your good Klein screwdrivers. So you get your old cheapo Milwaukee is something with a good metal cap, and you can beat it without worrying about it. Got a screw holding screwdriver. Not necessary. I just happen to have it, so I put it in here. It's nice for holding a flat tip screw while you're starting it, but don't try to tighten it with that or you'll ruin it. And then I have 2 handles. This top layer of foam will lift out. Go to the next level. I got regular old claw hammer, carpenter's hammer you call it. Some people do. I like the straight claw. This is a 20-ounce east wing, but anything will do. The keyhole saw, drywall saw, depending on what you call it, you're going to need that for sure if you're doing any kind of remodeling or adding plugs or something in a house. You're going to have to cut drywall. That's all it is to it. Got a set of crimpers. These will got cutters and crimpers. They're handy. Set of needle nose pliers. If I can get them out. There we go. Got a set of side cutters, also very handy. And I got a tubing cutter for cutting thin wall conduit, EMT. You have to cut that occasionally, and that's a good way to do it. And I also have a cold chisel. Every now and then you're gonna have to cut a brick. It's a pain in the butt, but you're gonna have to do it. That's about the best way to do it. That's about all I have on that level. I don't have a pair of channel lock pliers in here, but I'm gonna add a pair. Like I said, it's not a complete kit by any means. I'm just more or less a shade tree electrician anymore. In this layer, I have a complete set of nut drivers. These are Klein. They go from 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch. They come in handy. If you notice, I have one oddball nut driver, and it's a metric. It's 7mm. A lot of the porch lights, outdoor lights you get will have nuts that hold them to the bar hanger, and there's usually 7mm. So that's why I have only that one metric. I have a small set of Allen wrenches and a large set. A lot of the lugs in your breaker boxes and main lugs and main breakers will be Allen heads, and you'll need that. And I got a threader. It'll do 6, 8, and 10 machine screws. Comes in handy, not completely necessary. I bought this cheapo 6-inch Phillips screwdriver somewhere, number 2 Phillips. Like I said in the first video, I prefer the 6-inch screwdrivers, and a 6-inch number 2 Phillips is hard to come by for some reason. I found this one somewhere. It's a cheapo, but I bought it. I've had it for years. But I don't know why, but a 6-inch number 2 screwdriver is kind of hard to come by. I don't understand it. I got a set of tiny little precision screwdrivers. And that's about all I got on that layer. And if we go to the bottom layer, got a pair of 10 snips. These are good for cutting vinyl siding. If you're adding a light or a plug on some siding, they'll cut vinyl siding, they'll cut aluminum siding. Believe it or not, you still run into some aluminum siding out there. They're good for that. They make them that'll cut right angles, left angles, and straight. Them are the ones that cut straight. Pay attention to that if you're buying a set. You don't want to get the wrong ones. It's just a smaller pair. They come in handy every now and then. And then I got a voltage tester. You put that, it'll test, it'll vibrate. You can feel it vibrate when it hits a live circuit. And it'll be a gauge here to tell you if it's 120, 240, 480, 600 volts. The more volts you put to it, the harder it'll vibrate. It comes in handy. Then I have a meter here. Carry. Most of the time you see heat and air guys with a meter like this. I just got it cheap at a pawn shop. It's a decent meter. It's ideal. And I keep it in here. I prefer a fluke meter. And I have a extremely expensive fluke meter that I use working on cars and stuff. But I'm not going to put it in this box and let somebody steal it out of the back of my truck. But this ideal meter does everything. It'll read amps and volts, continuity. It'll do everything. Usually you see heat and air guys using this amp clamp to see how many amps a wire's drawing. That won't do any good if you hook that around an extension cord or something. You got to hook that around a single wire. So if you just hooked it around an extension cord, it's not going to read anything. You need it just a single isolated hot wire by itself for it to read amps. But it's handy, and it was fairly cheap. But you want to get a decent meter. You don't want no Walmart special. You want to get an Ideal, a Klein, Greenlee. They're all decent meters. Fluke is the king, that's for sure. But like I said, this is just one that I picked up at a pawn shop, and I put it in here because no matter what you carry your tools in, there's no way to make them hardly theft proof. Ain't much you can do with a thief except shoot him if you get the chance and catch him in the act. But these layers go back in. Like I said, there's no perfect way, but this is a pretty good way. And you can do this with mechanics tools as well as plumbing tools and HVAC tools. And there you go. Everything's in its place. And I can look at it real quick and tell if anything's missing. Now I'll try to show this other one. I got another one in the same box. Let's see if I can get it. And it's just full of, I don't have it shadowed in the foam yet anyway. It's got various drill bits and screwdriver bits. And I got my battery powered drills and my battery chargers. And the most important thing you can have is a good old bill book. Don't sell yourself short. You start doing something for nothing, your phone will never stop ringing. If you work for somebody, make them pay you. That's just the way it is. You start doing jobs for free, you'll have more work than you can shake a stick at, but won't have enough money to buy a bag of ramen noodles in real quick time. These boxes are nice. I'm not sure if I can show them real good. I got them at Home Depot. The smaller ones I think were $39. The larger one on the bottom has an expandable handle and wheels, and you can lock all three of them together and roll them. Works really nice. The bottom one I have a